Didn't Cat Williams say 2024 will be the year of the truth? Well, I guess it's my turn. It's your girl Candi Hussle, and you are now tuned in to Dope Chick with Ambition podcast. Let's go. Listen up, I got a story to tell. Wow, I haven't done a story time in mad long, so I guess I can pour y'all some of my tea. Get y'all cup. Y'all be mad nosy anyway. All right, let me take a sip of water. Hold on. I'm a little shy. I got an audience member in here with all of my business. Be quiet, audience member. All right. I don't drink well. I'm off alcohol. And, I like the truth. And truth doesn't need motivation, like Katt Williams said. So he said that during his Club Shay Shay interview. And I was like, that was a bar. All right. So this. I made the decision to return home for the holidays, which I normally don't do because traveling can be like so overwhelming during the holidays and especially during the winter seasons, like going up north or whatever. So I wanted to go home and see my grandparents and especially my grandmother. Like that's my favorite girl in the whole wide world. And then I wanted to see my bestie, Dewani, and I wanted to see my father, my biological father. Wow, did I just say that? Yes, I did. So I've known officially since the age of 14 who my biological father was, and from that point of my life, I felt I was hiding a secret. I was born to a teen mom, and the man who they said was my dad, he was a little older than her, and I would, identified, I was identified as his first child or whatever. So I was super spoiled, and anything I requested, he would provide. And his family, especially my aunts, I was spoiled by them as well. So I can't say anything bad about him. Up until my teen years, that's when things like sort of shifted and hit the fan. Now, ladies and gents, listen very closely. Kids will eventually figure out that a man isn't their father if you pin a baby on the wrong guy. Because as I started to grow up and recognize my looks, I'm like, hold on, I don't look anything like this man. And the other children that came after me, he's like tall and thin, and all of his kids are tall and thin, and he has like certain facial features that his other kids had too. So I was like, maybe I just look more like my mother. I don't know. So there had been like a running joke that another dude was my dad, not my bio dad, but another guy. So I'm like, damn, well, is the other dude my pops? And let me put a name to the story to help everyone. So S, and I started to have like static in our father and daughter relationship. So like most kids, once they reach the teen age and not knowing anything about my bio dad, I go in like a rage, like temper tantrum type of thing. And I tell like, S, I hate you and you're not my real dad. This is like a teenage meltdown. Now, we all know it's certain things that you can't say to a man, especially a black man, right? So from that day on, I guess it's stored in his head and our relationship was estranged. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's an Aquarius, and maybe that's where my dislike for Aquarius men stems from anyway, right? They don't have emotions for real. So it was like deuces. So I would see him from time to time around the way, but whatever. We never really connected. So my mother was doing work behind the scenes, I guess, after I set it off, not with the whole thing like, you're not my dad. So at like 14, I think it was like the fall or the summertime, she comes to me and she tells me to get dressed. And I'm like, okay. And so she's dressing like, get really cute and everything. And I'm like, okay. She was like, you're going to go see your godfather. So I'm confused because I'm like, I just saw my godfather recently. So she's telling me to get dressed and get cute. Like, I've never seen my goddad. So my, like, spidey senses are going off. Like, what is going on? So we go and we drive to this hair salon on the west side of the Rock. And I'm like, So we go into the hair salon and we pull up and this guy is doing hair, but not like in a sassy way, but like in a pimp manner. Because back in the day, dudes used to do women hair, but it was like masculine. I can't like explain it. So he's like bending over, doing a lady hair, but it was like all like pimpish. You had to be there. So I see his face and I'm like, this guy looks like me, but he's like brown skin. So he looks at me and then I see he like flashes his smile, and him and I have like the same smile, and I see like his little bunny teeth too. So I'm like, oh shit. And I have like bunny teeth. And I'm like, uh-oh. So next thing you know, he comes over and he's like looking at me and I'm looking at him. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, what? So I'm like looking at him and he's like, yeah. And so my mother just like, this is your dad or whatever. I'm like, wow. So now at 14, this new information is heavy and it's a lot to process, but this is my new life. This is my new norm. His family embraced me. My grandparents, my uncles embraced me. My grandmother had 4 boys, no girls. So then the wild thing is I have a sister with the same name as me. And she and I, we actually used to cheer Pop Warner together. So this whole time when the other guy, who I thought was my dad, never came to see me cheer, although he paid for all of my activities, my biological dad was actually there supporting me and my sister. Her name is spelled different from mine. She's 1 year older than me and 1 month. Her birthday's in December. Well, this month. So she is my big sister. So shout out to her. So once I met him, we began to talk daily because my pops love to talk. So I found out where I got it from. Sadly, he was going away for a little while and we would have to get to know each other via letters. Like, what the fuck? Like, child in the prison? Like, man, he was going to go through time. So I had to write him and he appreciated that, especially me being so young. 14, y'all. So now I have this information. I navigate through life. I never had either of my dad's last names. So I still feel incomplete. That's why I can't wait to get married and drop the name that I have no ties to. See, my last name is my step grandfather's last name. Don't ask me. Things were just wild back then. I will say I don't fault my mother due to her age. I can only imagine being a young mother, conceiving at 14 and delivering at 15. At those ages, things can be be mistaken, especially back then. In this day and age, things are more advanced. I'm seeing girls that are on, paternity court and things of that nature. So, if you are a teen mom, you're not sure who's your kid father, I would say go on, find out early before the kids are grown. I don't feel like I have daddy issues since S was in my life and I had, male figures in my life. I feel like I was, raised around some solid dudes. I just wish I had the opportunity to know my biological dad sooner. He seems really awesome. And again, we are just alike in so many ways. Personality, temperament, like to meet someone and you finally see where you get your other DNA from. Like, I'm tearing up, so I apologize, guys. It's a blessing. So last month, I surprised him. Well, kinda. And we went to, I went to go see him. So pretty much I went to go check him out, connected with his wife on Facebook, and I was able to, connect with him and surprise him. And we talked and we got updated pictures and videos. And I'm going to have him come out here in Atlanta. And he's a Cancer, a June Cancer. Dad is a hothead. It's so funny because he and I are both on the same vibe about something in our life. And we both love talking our heads off. And we actually talk each other off the ledge. But I felt really good to share this with you all. So if you know me, S isn't my biological dad. This isn't new tea. This has been known since the 90s, but I was brave enough to say it aloud and share it with others and share it on my platform in 2024 before going into 2025 at the age of 42. Now I can play the games publicly on social media. Which two zodiac signs made you? I'm all water, baby. Hold on. I'm all water, baby. My mom is a Pisces and my dad is a Cancer. This episode is dedicated to my pops. I love you and I'm happy we reconnected. P.S. Stop breaking your phones. I hope you all enjoyed this story time and thank you for tuning in to Dope Chick with a Vision podcast. Mwah.